Welcome to part 3 of the Digital Nomad series.
We're currently high up in the mountains of Colombia, just south of Medellin. We followed a trail up to this amazing hostel called La Peña, the perfect location for some hiking and climbing. For this episode, we'll be looking at how to get power into your camper and also some of the accessories that you can use to make working on the road a little bit easier. One of the things that you're really going to need when you're working on the road is power. We have 4 AGM batteries to power our camper, and each one of these batteries weighs 90 pounds, so they're pretty heavy. We have 600 amp hours in total, and the batteries are recharged either by shore power, by our alternator in the truck when we're driving, or by solar panels on the roof. One of the really nice things about the new Nimble Evolution camper, and one of the great upgrades they've made, is the fact that they've changed over this system to lithium, which means that the batteries last longer, they charge quicker, but also they're a lot lighter as well. As well as the batteries being changed to lithium, they've changed the whole electrical system to Victron energy. So that's a fantastic upgrade for anyone buying a new camper. I'm no mechanic and I'm no electrician, but I do know that the alternator in our truck, when the truck is running, produces electricity. That electricity powers the truck's electrical system, but it also charges this battery. This guy here is a charging relay, and what this does is connect our batteries in the truck to the camper batteries. So when these guys are charging, it connects these batteries to our camper batteries and means that our camper batteries are charging at the same time. The nice thing is that it also works in the other direction. So when we have solar panels charging the camper batteries, this connects our camper batteries to the truck batteries, and it means that our truck batteries are kept charged as well. The other cool thing is the fact that when we're not charging, this will switch off, which means that if we're in the camper using electricity in the camper and our camper batteries are getting discharged or lower, this will disconnect the camper from the truck, meaning that we don't discharge the truck batteries, which is great because we don't want to be stuck without being able to start the vehicle. Of course, one of the best ways to charge your camper batteries is going to be by using shore power. It's not a way that we get to use very often because we're usually off-grid, but it provides a very consistent and a very large amount of electricity. So we have a smart plug and a big 30 amp cable that plugs straight into the camper, the other end going to an electrical receptacle. After the truck's alternator, one of the biggest ways we get our power into our batteries is by the solar panels. We have 3 solar panels. Each one of these is rated to 160 watts, giving us 480 watts of solar in total. If you're staying in one place for a long period of time, we found that these manage to keep us pretty much topped up but at the end of the day, providing that we've got enough sun and providing that we're not in shade like we are today. So one of the key things with your battery bank is to ensure that you have enough power, not only for the day that you want to work, but if you plan to stay in one place for a few days, it's a good idea to have enough power in your battery bank to cover you for all of those days. Because despite the fact that it's great to have solar topping up the power when you do have sun, sometimes you're not going to have sun, and it's good to have enough battery power to cover you for working. When we're working on the road, obviously we need a few different accessories to help make our working life a little bit easier. Obviously, you're going to need a computer. Everyone probably has their own computer, but just to let you know what we have, I have a MacBook Pro. Claire uses a MacBook Air. The main difference between the two is probably processing power. I do a lot of photography and video. A bigger computer is better, and Claire is mainly online video conferencing and using internet and then some few other basic programs, so she doesn't need as powerful a computer. I'm sure everyone already has that anyway. On top of that, we use cloud services, so we use Dropbox and Google Drive, and whenever we can, we try and back up all of our documents to the cloud, and we try and do that wherever we're on Wi-Fi, or if their files aren't too big, then we use our data, because obviously it's really important to have all of your data backed up. I take a lot of photography and video, So I also use one of these guys, which is a La C, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, La C rugged drive. Pretty much bomb proof, just plugs into a computer. Any videos and photographs, any large files that I want saving, I upload to here. That just really, I know it's still going to be in the same camper. If the camper caught fire, I'd lose both, but the fact that it maybe I lose my computer or the hard drive goes down on my computer, I have all my important documents backed up to here. And also I have as much as I can backed up to the cloud, as I mentioned before. The other thing that I do, anything not backed up to the cloud, I use a little USB stick and back up some important documents from there that have yet to be uploaded. And you can, if you want to, you can take that with you. If it's a little USB stick, you can stick it on a keychain or something like that. And that just means that any documents not backed up, you've got on you. Okay, moving on from there, power. Obviously we power the computer from the electrical system in the camper. But if we go out and our phone's running low, then we have a couple of battery banks, which are really, really handy. This one's amazing. They're both by Anker. This one's tiny enough to fit in your pocket, and it can recharge one of our phones twice. So really, it's really handy if you're out all day, if you're taking photos or video, or your phone's just down low, you can just plug this into your phone and it recharges your phone really quickly. This is effectively the same thing as that, it just has some different ports in there. Costs marginally more. I think this one's only like 24 US and this one was around 45, but this one also has the power to be able to power your laptops as well. Moving on from there, how do we get connected? Usually we use data because it's pretty cheap down here, but when we can use Wi-Fi, we try and use Wi-Fi. Places like the campground where we are at the moment have Wi-Fi, but the Wi-Fi is located in the common area towards the reception, and we're parked in the campground a little bit further out. So sometimes you can't get Wi-Fi, and sometimes if you can link onto the Wi-Fi, it's a very poor signal, which is where this guy comes in. These are amazing. We've used it quite a lot. It's a Wi-Fi extender by Redport, and what this antenna does is basically magnify the signal in and out from the Wi-Fi at the campground to our computers, and it feeds the signal throughout the camper using this little router. So we have our own little network inside the camper, and these are great. The blurb says that you can use them up to 2 kilometers away. That might work if you're in a marina with nothing between you and the Wi-Fi signal other than flat open water, but usually we find we can get a signal maybe 500 meters, something like that, at a push. And usually in a campground it's like 100-150 meters, but it really does work really well. It boosts the signal right up to a full strength signal, and yeah, saved our bacon quite a few times. Lastly, one of the things that really will save your bacon depending where you're traveling, a fan. We don't have air conditioning in the camper, but working in the camper without air conditioning up to, for me, around 35 degrees C, what's that, 70, about 100 degrees Fahrenheit, is bearable if you have a fan. This guy is by Caframo. I think we bought it on Amazon. They're a little bit more than most fans, but they come with a 12 volt cigar style connector. They use very, very little power, which is amazing. They push out a lot of air. They also come with this guy. Actually, this, I'm not sure if this is extra, you have to look out for that. But they come with a couple of different stands, including this one, which allows you to grip the fan to wherever you want to inside your vehicle. And it really makes the difference between being able to comfortably sit and work in a hot and humid environment and not being able to. So yeah, I'm going to put the links for all of these guys down in the comment section below or in the description below. A link to each of the companies telling you where to buy them, and I guess when you go there, how much they cost. We're not associated with any of them. We don't have any affiliation with any of these companies. I just think that they're really, really good products, and they've worked really well for us over the last 3 years.